It's Google for Business.
Google Suite.
It's like
their Office.
Office 360 for Google.
For business.
For business? Well, they're saying it's $5 a month, and they're comparing it to Office 360.
Yeah.
Not Linux.
It's the same thing that we got for free. So.
I've had a problem with Google products, particularly their equivalent to PowerPoint. There was something that seemed like it was relatively easy in terms of the duration that you wanted the PowerPoint slide to remain on the screen. And you had to go in, if you were using the Google application, do some sort of crazy gyration in the setup where you modified the code, and you change it from 15,678 to another number, and that's how you adjust the number of clock counts.
Well,
this is not handy at all.
Yeah, it's not. Hasn't been a mainline. Some of the mainline stuff there, graphics stuff is kind of bad. But yeah, the Word emulator is fine for what I do. But, yeah.
Oh, that's the text to speech that you demoed.
Yeah, it's their equivalent of Word.
Their Word.
Word, okay.
Yeah. It seems to be okay, but exotic, no.
That was better.
But they keep getting better. So, okay, Office 365 is what they're comparing it to, and now they're saying if you buy it, it costs more. And they offered to give it to me, and it said for free. And when I see for free, when I write in for free for now.
Yes.
I know how that goes. All right, Vicente, introduce yourself and what's up?
Vicente.
Uh-huh.
I like electronics, robots. I like the demos from Leroy.
Anything interesting happened this week, or seen anything interesting?
I was cleaning a lot of stuff in the basement. Put everything in boxes with labels and this kind of things. And I'm going back to the project of moving the scooter wheels, with
wheel motors,
BLD controllers.
Uh-huh.
Maybe next week I have something to show about that.
Cool. Think you'll have something next week or someday?
I don't know, someday.
Okay.
If not, the next week will be the other one, but I almost on it now.
All right. Leroy, the club vice president, anything?
Oh, I got tons of stuff going on
Okay.
this past week. Tons of stuff. Mostly this thing and that thing.
Okay.
Which
Any of these small topics you want to drop in? This is just a 1 minute. What's on your brain?
We'll talk about all this stuff in a few minutes.
Okay. Nick?
James, not much new.
Fine, not much new. They helped me fix my memory storage problem on my cheapo Kindle Fire.
Is Amazon taking over the world?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's some guy named Scott Galloway that was on NPR talking about the bidding for Amazon. They have had every intention to go to New York and D.C. because Bezos owns a house in Washington State, New York East Side, and D.C., and he wants to walk to work. So all these bids came in, and he said they were playing everybody to get more out of the site, that they knew they were going to go to those two sites anyway.
They're saying Netflix's stock's doing really well, and
They
seem
jacked
to
the
be,
price up.
yeah, even with the price
Yeah,
jack,
it
they
went
seem to
up.
be taking over a large slice of the market.
Yeah, of course, when it's only $10, $15, but 10% or whatever increases in his.
This guy
Yeah,
named
it's
Scott
right.
Galloway said they're going to get into medical next, Amazon, and they'll be a bellwether for Amazon, medical and for pharmacy.
Yeah.
They won't own the pharmacist, they're going to team up.
Okay.
Mike, and I ran across an interesting problem. My wife uses Outlook for her email, and one subdirectory, all of the contents vaporized. They were gone. They didn't show up in the deleted files. And it turns out this is fairly common, and Microsoft has an add-on to Outlook for recovering files from their server. And so we were able to put it in as an add-on to Outlook, and it took about 35 minutes for it to go through and search their servers for all of the missing files.
For lost files, wow.
And they had no explanation as to why they were gone or how they were gone. It wasn't an accidental deletion, because we did a test on that, and even if you delete the entire folder, that shows up under deleted.
How many people use Outlook, the download version?
I am using, but I used to make backups every couple of months, a full backup.
Of course there's a problem.
This was really peculiar, without getting into any of the details. This happened to be a file folder that contained 6 years of information about a lawsuit my wife has filed.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if somebody got in there and hacked it and deleted it, we would suspect they would have shown up under the deleted files. But all the rest of it, nothing was touched. It was just that one file.
There is a lot. There is a lot of
Restore.
files there. My last backup was 5 gigs, 5 gigabytes.
Yeah, I noticed I don't use Outlook, but she does, and I noticed that you're able to download to or upload to the cloud.
Yes.
Is that where you back them up, or do you back them up on your?
I made a pen drive usually.
Because none of her files reside on the PC. They all reside on the server.
Or the cloud, does she have them in the cloud too?
Well, we are going to put them in the cloud, but we haven't done that as yet. We just recovered those yesterday morning.
Sounds like a conspiracy theory from the X-Files.
Well, it was pretty damn peculiar, I know that.
You do your image backups?
Excuse me?
You do image backups?
Well, they wouldn't have been on the computer. They're on their server.
On Microsoft server?
But you must pay for. You have much information in their servers.
She has an account with them that has been grandfathered because her email starting 25 years ago or whatever was MSN.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's not charged anything, even though she's got tons of stuff with her.
They should be able to do a restore then.
You can't do a straight restore. You have to go back in and have it search through their servers.
Mm-hmm.
It's if you look at the restorable items, we found 3,200 of those. None of the files that we were looking for were amongst those. They were simply gone. And when we went back in and had the program do a search of their server, it did recover all 6 years of them.
It did?
It did.
Oh, okay.
But they weren't in the deleted files. They weren't in the regular recovery. You had to do the add-in.
Okay.
No, I had never heard of it, and there was no explanation anyplace as to why they vaporized.
The people that used to use Outlook, the file version instead of the web version, they always did backups. That was a separate issue. You back up your own Microsoft, because they were local. Our stuff was local. They had to do their own Microsoft. You would do that. That's crazy. You need to go to web-based stuff.
Well, they say that the emails should have been have a file extension of OST and FST, and we did a search of the hard drive, and no such files existed locally, so they were all up on the server. My problem with Outlook is I couldn't even find out what version she's got her running. It just, there's no information about it. I went into the Microsoft website and did an inquiry, and they said, well, here, click on this and it'll help you. So I clicked on that, and what did you do? It brought up her email.
That's helpful.
Yes.
I couldn't move out of the Outlook because I in the last 15 years I was creating folders and subfolders and folders about every subject, every people, every, you know, and now I have a monster in the drive. I just make a backup. The other approach is to use search and your have all the files in the same folder or something and use dates or subjects or something, but I start just using folders and now I am accustomed to it. You know, I want to review a conversation with someone and everything is in the folder of this person, all my interaction in any subject, and this I am accustomed to that. Yeah.
We had everything regarding this in one spot, and that was all gone.
Yeah.
At least you got a remedy.
And I was pretty damn worried here in my country.
I gotta figure out at some point I need to back up my cloud stuff eventually, and I'm hoping that won't be a bad thing. Hope there's a way to do it where you can just say take it and move all that. I got 15 gig, move the 15 gig to 4 terabyte drive.
Somewhere else.
Hopefully you can do it in one fell swoop. Just get all of them and put it where I want it. Can you do that?
Is it on Google? It
Yeah.
It breaks your stuff down to like 2 gig files. It'll zip up a bunch of stuff.
Google Drive.
Yeah, it'll zip it all up for you, but it'll do it
okay.
in 2 gig, 2 gig chunks.
Okay, as long as it's zipped. Is it zipped? That's fine.
And it'll take forever to download.
Yeah.
I have
I
Google
expect
Drive
that.
in my computer, synchronized,
Yeah.
and every couple of months also I made a full copy of the Google Drive stuff.
Synchronize it. Now, you synchronize it. The local files are in their format. You had to have an
Yes.
interpreter to get to them.
I don't know. They appear as Windows folders, and you use
Okay.
them.
You're viewing them with their tools.
No, it's in
They're
the
local
Explorer
files.
of Windows as a folder, Google Drive, and you go inside and see everything from
Everything's
the
local.
Windows Explorer.
You could sync.
I've seen that, and I saw the option to do that, but I really wasn't enthusiastic about that. But for backups, that would be cool. And then I could just knock off a copy of that.
You
I
could
just
sync
got-
since you're a Windows user.
Why, of
I
course.
don't have that option. I use Linux.
Well, you guys obviously have your stuff on Google. We have it on SkyDrive in Microsoft, and it's a similar type thing. If you look in Windows Explorer, it shows up as just another drive.
Yeah, I used the predecessor to that. Microsoft had before they converted it over, they had a third party doing that. And then they converted it over and tried to convert me, but when they first converted it over, they wanted to force you to use Microsoft Word, and I dropped them like a hot potato because Google was showing up with their drive. I said, okay.
There he is.
Hi.
Did you start over?
Yeah.
I haven't even started yet.
We are finishing.
Hey, I made it.
And Gail, you got anything, Gail?
No, just got another one of those emails that says your Yahoo account's been compromised. Please send me back your password.
New chairs.
Oh, yeah.
Go down
And you
to the
wonder how
house.
many people do
money.
that? Yeah,
Yes.
send back your password and information and username so we can verify that.
Go to
It's
local
really you.
Costco and buy an
Yeah.
iTunes card.
Oh,
I just
get
started.
the number to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
One thing we did talk about is the what did I call it? G Suite?
G Suite.
G Suite is Microsoft Office 365 for Google, and they're trying to sell it, and it's more than Office 365.
Is it an online product?
ESP.
Yeah,
Is it?
No.
Something else.
same thing. They've been developing the pieces, and now they tried to sell me or give it to me free.
Oh.
Free.
First
I said
time.
when they said free, I said, oh no, they're going to charge for this eventually.
Eventually, that's
That's
right.
like getting something from Microsoft for
It
free.
is eventually.
Yeah, I'm suspicious. All right. So, introduce yourself and what you got.
Marcus Davis. I've gotten. Oh,
Anything cute?
well, I'm playing around with the accelerometers now. But I will. One thing that I actually am excited about is that I actually got my motion detector to work on batteries, and it actually works successfully. What I ended up doing with the 8266, which is of course the processor I always use, is using that reset on there. Now people they'll understand what I'm talking about. It's a reset that you can reset it to bring it out of sleep mode. And so if you think about a motion detector, it's only going to be sensed every now and then. I mean, it's not a constant thing. If you're putting it in your kitchen, of course, it's going to be sensed all the time. But if you put it somewhere there's not a lot of traffic, you may get, I'll say 20 hits a day. 20 hits a day. And so every time it wakes up the 8266, and then it sends a MQTC signal out, says that hey, I've been somebody's came in an area. So it's working. I mean, it's working. I've had it hooked up for now a week, and the battery power is still up to, where I lost like a few hundredths of a volt.
So are you measuring vibration, or what do you mean?
Well, this is the motion thing, but I went from the motion to the vibration. I'm sort of past the motion thing where it's just on a PIR sensor. So it's just the sensor that's looking at the motion. But that thing is like I've been experimenting trying to get it to just run off a battery. Because all the ones I've done in the past, they just ran off of a wall transformer. But this one is actually, I'm trying to get it so it can run off a battery for a year plus. And so, that's my excitement. So, but the vibration and the accelerometer part is just playing with it for, right now. I haven't done much with it, but that's the point is to detect vibration. So that's me. I'm done.
Got you, Brad. Did it play? Or it looks like you didn't see
Oh, you already went around. I sat in the wrong spot. I
Look,
sat in the
hey, Leroy,
wrong
looks
spot.
like you didn't break
Now
anything.
you know
when
nothing
cut
about
into
us.
that.
Yeah, it's definitely. There's a big old nick right here, right in the center.
Oh, okay.
Oh, even.
I hit it, and as soon as I hit it, I knew I hit it. But that's the chip. That's the main chip. And surprisingly, it does sort of kind of look like that, but it's not.
Yeah, it's got more pins.
Yeah. Actually, the specs on it, I looked them up. It is very, very, very close. There's a couple of pins that are different, but it's very close to the ESP 12E specs, and that's. There's a couple of pins that are different. But when I cut the trace, and I think I destroyed this stupid thing because he can't get it to work either. So.
What about programmability?
That doesn't seem.
Anybody's got any clues how to program it?
Nah.
I don't think it.
You'd have to really modify that thing
Right.
and actually get it out of the case to do it.
Yeah. See, those Sonos, they actually have. A place where you can put
yeah,
a
but
connector in. It's
they
really,
actually use a real 8266.
Right,
This
right.
thing's using.
Who knows?
Well,
if I were making it, I wouldn't let you get to my stuff. If I were making those things, you couldn't get to
Well,
me.
I wouldn't buy your stuff.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I wouldn't hurt
Wow.
you.
well,
That's right.
when I looked the spec sheet up for that chip, it's got a RX and a TX pin. I'm guessing it's programmable pretty much the same way.
Yeah.
You just got to figure out what it actually wants.
Yeah. It's just, it's obviously they have to program it right, but it's just a one-shot deal, and that's it.
Yeah. That's pretty much my guess. I'm guessing that little chip that's not marked is probably memory, just like
Yeah.
mine.
Now they
Serial
do
flash.
You see this already?
download, update those things. They do. That's weird. They update those suckers.
But when I cut that trace, the case is actually compression fitted, so that's why it looked like it was all ultrasonically welded. As soon as I actually got through the case, it went, and I went, oh, and it just popped open, and that thing just popped right out, and I'm like,
So the top, let me see the top for a second.
so you probably, if you really had a real
so
thin
that
tool,
just
you
popped out
probably
once
could
you-
get it out of
once
there
you open- yeah.
anyway. But if you look real close,
So you need another one to try.
uh,
I didn't bring
If-
one
if
because I
you,
knew
uh,
you'd pick that one.
if you look really, really close, they've soldered that thing inside of that case. They stuck that in the case and soldered it in there, and then they snapped the lid on it and said ship it.
I didn't see what trace you cut on that.
Yeah, it's hard to see. It's pretty small, but right here, right there is a big nick, and then I nicked a couple of them when I was messing. And it was easy. It was easy to cut into that because I didn't know where the board was. It just,
Do you want to get into another one? Any reason?
no, I don't think we can reprogram it without knowing more about that chip.
Nobody's been doing it, huh? That's weird.
No, I think I destroyed that one just for the sake of opening it up and seeing what was in there.
Well, I think it's probably worthwhile.
I would say take that home and see if it works at your house, because my guess is, or my thought is, it wasn't finding the app, but it might still connect to your network, so it might still work. Because that's what I was thinking it was doing. So, okay, that's that. That's that 5 minutes of fame for that one. And we're done with that. So, this past week, last week, you introduced Teams a little bit.
Yep.
And I wasn't really looking for any alternatives or anything. I just sort of
Well,
came across this site and went, oh, this is interesting. So, obviously I'm not logged in, but let's see if I even can. This is basically a forums kind of thing, and it's got some social aspects to it, but it's not like completely socialized. It's more of a forum. So we can go and we can still look, and I've uploaded a couple of pictures, and those are public. See, I'm not logged in anywhere. We've got the ability to set up like mini websites within the thing, and those would be public as well. We've got the ability to share a calendar or whatever.
Public within that application? Or
No,
public?
public.
Okay.
Public.
Searchable public there where we could get search results.
See, I'm not logged in. I'm not logged into it at all. See where it says that? So everything that I can do right now, but if I click on messages, now it flips over and wants me to log in. If I click on forums, I can click on and look at and see what we're doing, but if I want to actually reply, then I have to log in.
Okay.
So
That's like
even
Google Plus.
the forums are semi-public.
Are
And
the
it-
forums reachable outside? Can you do searches and find forums?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably.
it'll probably, once you get it out there for a while, the search engine will probably pick
I
up on it.
I really haven't set up any meta tags or anything yet, but chat, that wants me to log in. Videos, are basically pretty much everything's public until you actually get to doing something. So you can look at almost everything.
That's exactly.
Is it easy to load, easier than Google Plus, or about the same?
Well, it's not really compared to. This is more like a forum than a social network. But if we were looking at something that has both the aspects of public
Yeah.
and private, and we don't have to do a whole bunch of different apps to do it.
It was. I mean, when I got into it, it was just simple. It's just simple. I mean, everything's there. I mean, all the menus are there. It's just almost intuitive. Yeah, I played with it a little bit.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but
With Google, we could go in and chat with each other. What are you
Yeah, this you
working
can do
on?
here.
And,
Yeah, you
and
can
throw
do that.
something in there and throw a movie or throw a picture in.
Well, okay, so here's the big drawback to this. Actually, there's two.
Mhm.
We only have 2 gigs of space total to share between everybody. So if we upload pictures, our space goes down. If we upload videos, our space really goes down. They've got a way to share videos via YouTube, which doesn't take up any space.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that's actually the way to share the videos.
Yeah.
The pictures, on the other hand, are a little different. I tried to share a Google photo for photos, and that's what showed up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I uploaded the picture to my own thing and shared it like that, and then I actually had the picture show up. Pictures generally don't take up a whole lot of space, but still, it's something to be aware of.
They add after a while.
They will add up after a while. The other thing, there's some weird quirks. This company is a German company, and even though it's all in English right now, we'll click on something. Jim saw it. We'll click on something, and it will be in German. And the only thing I can think of is they haven't completely finished the translation yet, or it's a little flaky, but I think we can live with that because almost everything is icon based, and we all pretty much know what the icons mean. So, I was going to see when you log in.
Does it, when you update the forum, does it send a mail message?
You can
saying-
set it to, but right now, I don't have it automatically set to do that. You could actually, that's what I was going to show was the forums. Even when you are the creator of a post, you have to subscribe to your post to get the updates, subscribe to this topic. So if anybody commented right now, I wouldn't get updated. I would have to come to the forum to see if anybody commented, because I'm not subscribed. But you can see it really all that really happens is you get logged in. Nothing else really changes. The thing is everybody has their own personal site that they can create, which is semi-external. It'd be whatever dot automationtechnologyclub.uku.com, and you can make your own external site, and then I can actually put a link just like I did here for the announcements.
And what about Facebook? To have a group in Facebook is you have everything with Facebook, or when you have a group in Facebook, talking about another approach to have a sharing place.
Oh,
Everything is public in Facebook.
in
Like
Facebook.
like Google Plus.
Well, yeah. I don't.
There is
use-
only one line of time, right? Everything goes to the same.
So that here's enough to.
I don't use Facebook a lot.
Yeah.
The thing I liked about this was it was customizable. You know, you go with some of these other sites, you know, even the ones we've been playing with, they're not customizable. I mean, you get a cookie cutter kind of deal and it works and you're happy. I don't know. I know you've played around with it a little bit. You've looked at it, and I know Jim's played around with it a little bit.
What do you think, Jim?
There's a couple of quirky things that Jim
Oh,
didn't
didn't mean to
particularly
knock
care
that
for,
over.
but I can't fix. It's semi-customizable. It's not 100% customizable. The way I dealt with it was I just removed. There used to be a thing up here that said members, and you could click on that and see all the members, but it doesn't completely just get rid of it because you can still click on who's online and see the member list. So
Yeah, the main thing I want is the main thing I was interested in is the Google Plus features where you could just toss topics out and people could respond to them
well, you can do that with the forums.
with the form. Okay.
So I've only got one forum set up right now, and it's just I can make more, but you click on create topic.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Topic. It said topic.
I'd like a general topic.
Blah
which
blah
is,
blah blah. Well,
You know, what's happening? Topic.
And that'd be a general form.
And then if you want to spin
Current.
off, you got 8266 interest, you can spin off and create a topic on that. But you could start with a general topic or chat. And
well,
there we go.
I could change all that. I mean,
Could you have a current area?
it's not hard to change any of this really.
So what if you wanted to decrease the menu items?
I could do
Can you
that.
do that also? Because when I'm, you're looking at it now, it's like, okay, you got forums, you got message, you got chat. Okay, in a sense is that a lot of times they use
Well-
chat as the flow. Go ahead.
Okay, messages
It's like email.
is like email. It's private. It's private.
Okay.
Now I could make a sub deal where it would be messages and sub under it personal
Oh, I see.
and chat or whatever, like I did here.
Just trying to see to make it a little more intuitive, because you got all these menu items, and we can establish that. Okay.
Yeah, well I can even rename messages to be something else, but messages right now is inner
Communications,
it-
right.
It's private.
between
Okay.
two people
Okay.
instead of
Okay.
open to everybody. Yes. Forums obviously are the public forum,
Okay. Right.
and chat is just a chat room that.
Real time.
Yeah, it's more or less real time. Yeah.
So anybody that's logged in at that time.
Yeah, their chat works a little weird because it says that it's still in beta testing, and you actually have to open the chat app and have it open like that to actually be in the chat room. Otherwise, you're not really in the chat room. And if you
Is there an app for that?
no.
No.
But if you click here, now you see that one person's in the chat room. So you could go to the chat room now and go, oh, it's just Leroy, I don't want to talk to him, and get right back out of it. It's not perfect, but I think it leans a little closer to a couple of the goals that, and it definitely leans towards the customization. I mean, we could make this thing our own, more or less. So, And that was just a random. I wasn't even really looking for this. It just sort of was one of those random kind of. All of a sudden, there it was. So, okay. Questions? Comments?
I can barely read it from back here.
Well, of course you can because it's too small for you.
I was looking more at the search up there at the top. Automation.
I didn't really try this search. Let's see what that.
That's good. That's nice.
But it searches within the
Internal.
grid.
Inside the
Right.
site.
Here's some German for you. Searching this.
Do
The
what?
search result is in German there.
Yeah.
You are-
Yeah, right there. See,
Searching not.
I think we can live with some of this weird stuff.
Sushi Natch robot.
I'm gonna have to email the guy and say, hey,
Right.
half of your stuff's still in German. What gives? It's usually when I go and like if I make a forum post somewhere.
They have a pay version.
They do, but
I mean,
the stuff you get for the paid version
But
doesn't.
the business model is that you get accustomed
Yeah.
to the tool, and then
Well, some of the stuff that he gives you in the paid version, I don't think we really care about anyway. So, this is where I usually notice the German, like right there, build per URL something or other, insert image.
the help is in German.
Zat. I have no idea what Zat means, but it's got a chat bubble icon.
It's
So.
a comment. I don't know.
QL code, which I don't know. I did try to actually post some code into this, and you just post it straight, and it looks fine. You don't have to do any of that markdown stuff or anything. But this is where I've noticed most of the German has actually shown up as in here, and I don't really know why.
Well, let's try it for a while and see
That's what I get.
what's going on.
Did you know you're online right now? Look, you're online.
I don't know why. It's in my computer or where?
Apparently.
You live in Lebanon.
Maybe I don't know.
So that's that. I'll put. I guess we can put a link.
I couldn't edit my username because the second letter is.
I think I can. I
capital.
think I can fix that.
You're not 70 years old, are you?
I think I can actually fix that.
I took exception when they asked me my age and city. That's a fake age. I'm much younger there.
Yeah.
And Tuvark, Indiana is.
That's
where I
Idaho,
live.
or is that Indiana?
This is the default.
Idaho.
The default
Idaho.
age.
You
That
live
same
way out
difference.
in
The
Idaho,
default
man.
age is 62 because it has a.
Oh, the default age is
Equalize it.
62?
Westchester every day.
I am the older.
You're older?
I put
Whatever
I
it
think
is.
That's my real age.
I know. But,
I didn't
but
see
you,
the mind.
I saw when you changed it because you were 62 also.
Yeah.
I do take exception to that sort of crap, but you have to put some of it.
The best I could do was
Show them the meeting announcement page and see if our and Mr. Anonymous is there.
It's inside.
Is
So
that you?
oh.
No, I don't know who it is.
Oh, you don't know?
I'm suspecting it's
It's a
Jeremy.
link, right? A
Jeremy.
link from the meeting
Could be-
announcement.
could be
It's
anybody.
a link or
Yeah.
The meeting announcement page. That's the website.
There was a
from them.
lemur or something.
Lemur Anonymous.
Ring-tailed lemur.
In German?
No. Nobody's there. It's just me.
Oh, okay. Sometimes a little pink circle pops up there, or a circle with an emblem in it, and it says Lemur Anonymous, or it was something else today. There's me. That's Jay. That's probably me.
That's you.
Who's that? Oh,
That's just the chat icon.
Can I?
So, see, I can even put a link to that out there somewhere. Most of this was me just playing around trying to figure out what some of this stuff did. So, none of it has to be the way it is. And when Jim was playing and he was giving suggestions, I was pretty much changing it on the fly. So.
Yeah, I just throw stuff out. It's some of it I like it. They wanted you to have to friend people, and I said,
I'm friendless. I'm a loner.
I don't have any friends.
Yeah, we want everyone to participate. We don't want you to have to ask to be a friend to somebody to join this. It's open. So yeah, stuff like that.
Well, I was reminded about 10 years ago, I got an email that said, because of the Freedom of Information Act inquiry, files that the FBI had on you during the 1960s are now public. And please click on this link to see what your file looks like.
Don't do it.
I looked at that and I thought,
Run the other way.
but I was curious.
Yeah, you were.
Uh-oh.
So I logged in on somebody else's machine
Whoa!
Oh yeah, there you go.
and pulled it up, and my file contained one photograph of a baboon's butt.
Yeah, the virus was right behind it.
They caught up with you, didn't it?
The
I
rats.
thought, oh, red-handed.
That is me. I got it.
I was telling somebody else about it, and they got hooked in too. Well, maybe they've got files on me from the 60s.
Yeah, that's
The friend thing has more to do with if they can see this here than it has to do with them being excluded or whatever. This is the social aspect of it, where I can say, oh, I'm working on blah blah blah, and it just adds it to my timeline. Like
It's like a blog.
it's like a mini blog, yeah.
Okay.
And if we're friends, then everybody will see what I just posted. And if you don't care about that, you don't have to be my friend, but you're still going to see all my stuff in the forums. So, unless you actually block me, and there is a way to actually block people that annoy the crap out of you. So,
This is good.
but
I could see that as later on being a useful tool when there are 30 or 40 people there.
yeah, but right now I've just been adding everybody as friends or whatever, just so we could play around and see what it actually does. But that's where the friend thing actually comes from, is when I share something socially, so from the social media side of it, all my friends are supposed to see it. That's it.
This site appears to be very clean in terms of its layout.
I had a different theme up when Jim first was playing around with it. I switched it because this is clean. I like the way it looks.
Yeah.
I can reorganize. If we wanted messages next to chat, I can move those. If we want forums somewhere else, I can move that.
I like to be able to look at it, see all of my options at one place, not have to drill down 16 different levels to find something.
Yeah, it's a clean deal. So
So it's German, Yoko.
well,
Yoko.
it's run by Germans, yes, but it's not bad. So this used to actually say discussion boards there, which was huge, you know, up there on the banner. I changed it to forums, but for whatever reason, I can't change that where it says discussion boards. So it's not 100% customizable. It's semi customizable, but
This is kind of a bug.
yeah,
In
yeah. Well, I'm not sure if it's somebody that you know obviously is probably not a native English speaker, because he saw something else that it was worded backwards, but it was in English, and I was like, yeah, you know, you got to put up with some of that because it's German.
Yeah, that's nothing. I think that's minor, really.
But yeah,
How'd you find out about this again?
I was just randomly doing random internet stuff and randomly came across. I think another group that I follow on G Plus had pointed to the base their site, and I said, "Oh, well, let's play around with this thing and see what it does." So, all right, let's get to the fun stuff because this is the boring stuff. Oh, look, I'm still in the chat room. All right, so everybody came to see the Pixel 2 camera and do stuff. So, as Jim said last week, that was a 2 megapixel camera or something that's in there. It's actually a pretty high resolution camera, but they lower the resolution now and they get high frame rates. It's reading that at 62 frames a second. So it's all pixely and nice. But we can see my little 3D printed box, and it's blue color. And there it is, able to see it.
I think my seizures are going to start.
That jitter is a little disconcerting.
Now, see, the purple is too dark, I think. It doesn't see that very well at all.
Give us a 3-dimension angle on that. Yeah, it's showing 3D. It's shadows. That's the stuff Vicente was talking about.
Yep, yeah. It's got 4 different programs built into it. The line tracking program flips it over to black and white, which I thought was kind of neat.
It's slow, right?
It's still reading it at almost 62 frames a second.
Okay. Tell me what that's supposed to be doing.
It's trying to find all the lines.
Okay.
So it's actually, you use this for, like, you know, the line following robots.
A lot of delay try.
Okay.
But
I'm not seeing that they're corresponding to any of the objects.
they're not, and something just
Crashed. There's probably too much
Freaked out.
movement there. Going crazy.
There is like a couple of seconds of delay.
it freaked out. What the heck?
So it does box recognition and recognizes the box.
No,
No?
it recognizes, that's color recognition.
Oh, okay.
So I can make it recognize just about any color. I didn't bring anything that's actually got good lines. Yeah, see, it's looking for.
Just trying to figure out what Vicente is. It's not doing good. It's, what the heck is that?
Well, CO
Looks like Fidel Castro or something. I don't know.
Will it recognize these lines?
Maybe.
Yeah,
Oh, I got
it
one.
did kind of,
Got one, yeah.
That text.
that bottom one,
red
lift it
line.
up a little bit and
That
show that
heavy,
text
that
again.
heavy line.
Yeah, see that?
Yeah.
Kind of said, hey, that's a horizontal thing right there.
See, we could do features.
It's looking
with-
for heavy lines.
Turn it upside down, there you go. Yep.
Yeah, the lines have to be pretty distinctive.
And that's the heavier lines. It looks like it gets that good.
What it's doing, it's trying to do analysis. So if the line's going that direction, that's the direction that the robot wants to go. And if the line changes direction, it'll follow that line around. So it's, you can't see it here, but if I had the line following program on the Arduino, you could see that it's sending a whole bunch of information, and it's going, I'm here, I need to be here, and it's telling it how to move, and it's following, the servos are actually following, and then it would follow it around. And maybe next week or the following week, after my new servo mount gets here, I can do a line following demo.
Because I couldn't see where it was following anything before.
Oh, it wasn't, because it didn't really see anything. It
So this jitter in here, let's say that you're doing a line following robot, how do you filter that out to keep your passengers in your vehicle from being shaken up like an egg?
You do a running average.
Yeah, well, actually, if you were doing line following, this would be laying flat, and the camera would be looking more down on it.
There's several techniques you can use. One of them is throwing out anything that's over 5% variation. The other one's just doing a floating average.
I
There's
did.
several ways.
I did primary features. If you do all features, you'll see other colored lines. So you're looking for the red line is what you're looking for.
Okay.
And even though there's some red lines back there, this is the strongest one that it sees. So that's the one it's going to give priority to.
Now, do you have the option of selecting which one you want priority
I'm not sure for the line following program. For the block for the color program, I can
Every now and then.
select which one.
Well, see, Jim was talking about averaging and stuff, but if you've got 6 or 7 things up there at one time, how do you figure out which ones you're going to include in the average and which ones you're going to exclude?
Because you go into the settings of the camera and you tell it to make some changes.
Okay.
See, that's only one there.
So I can change the edge threshold. That's the default. I could set it way high.
Okay.
So that means it would need to be a bigger line. Or I could set it way, way low. And now it's going to freak out because everything's going to be a line.
The minimum line width, I think that's what that says.
Yeah. But I could set that would have the same effect, right? If you lower it,
It's going to find more stuff.
if you make it too big, of course that would help if I turned off all that other stuff. I don't know if you just saw it somewhere, 3 vector, 4 vector.
Mm-hmm.
So it's giving some different numbers in there too. The original Pixie software, I believe, actually showed everything that it was doing in the console. This one doesn't. This one just shows that it started the program. So you get nothing. It just says. But I think the original Pixie camera didn't have the line following algorithms. It did color, and that was pretty much all it did. but it would tell you all kinds of stuff down there in the console, which is the same stuff that you get inside the Arduino. So this demo is for the color recognition now.
Okay, we're seeing this picture. Where's this picture coming from? The camera, is it a video?
USB.
Is it USB?
It's
or
USB.
Yeah.
USB coming out of the USB port. And it's got software dumping it to the screen. Oh, and then has it got an app running on the PC that's putting it up on the screen? What app?
Yeah. It's the Pixie app.
Pixie app. Okay, it's a Windows app.
No, it's. I could run this on Linux.
Okay, Linux or Windows app.
It's in Python, Java.
It's a Python script or something. Yeah. This app's just you download it from them. It's got all the settings and everything, so you can make all the changes that you need to, and then you run the software on the Arduino. So
you have a serial interface with the Arduino.
it's using SPI.
So what are you sending to the sending stuff to the Arduino to drive the robot?
Right here.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay, so you say I see blue, look for blue, and it says I see blue, and it grabs it.
well, it's actually looking for the signature number. So the signature of the blue block is signature 0. So it's actually looking for that. And blue will work really well because it's not around here. But if I had chosen another color, we might have problems inside this room. Let's start this again.
What about the Pepsi? The Pepsi bottle?
It's the wrong shade of blue, mostly. And now at the house, I had the light on, and here, well, the stuff has changed because now it looks like it doesn't matter if the light's on or not. But here, it seemed like the light didn't really need to. This where it says block, that is a label that you can add to it. Signature label. So I could call that anything I want to call it. The software doesn't really care because it's looking for the signature number, not the label. So I could call this.
That's just your display name.
Yeah, it's just for the software. I could call it yellow if I wanted to. And now it will say that's yellow even though we all know it's not yellow. Because I like confusing robots.
And they don't care.
And they don't care. We could move that over here and I could go set signature 3. And then you just kind of grab what you want. Oh, it grabbed the whole entire frame.
Yeah, it's going to be confused because they're looking for red, white, blue.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now I need to clear my signatures. But you saw where it said S equals 3, that's signature number 3. So now I need to try this again. And of course I had it working so well. Now it's not going to work right. So it's just that simple. You just find the object you want and you grab it and go.
Can you do random shapes or only rectangles?
I can do it's not the shape, it's the color. So, you know, I could do whatever.
But it's putting a bounding box around it. I don't think you can change the box.
Oh, you
No,
can't
but,
change.
but is the maximum distance put the image for a while to detect this? To figure out how it draw the size of the boxes.
Oh,
Is the
yeah.
maximum distance?
I could have selected just a little part of it, and it still would have seen the whole thing as being blue.
Mm.
He's just selecting the color by the shape. That really,
Yeah.
the fact that it matched the box was coincidental. I see.
Yeah, pretty much. So if you got like a ball or something that
Will be a square.
It still would be a square.
you would still select a square, but you would just select like the largest portion of the color that you
Right.
want.
You put the box
But when
within
it-
a circle. But when
When it displays it, it's going to be within a bounding box.
I mean, it uses the
Oh,
maximum.
right. Yeah.
right.
So if I could have just selected the upper portion of that, and it still would have said.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're getting at is that is it always a rectangle box?
Yeah.
sort of
In this
function?
software, it's
That
always a
contain all
rectangle
the
box.
pixels.
Right.
Yes. In this software, it is, and it doesn't really seem to matter. Yellow's driving me crazy. They call them blocks. That's
As good a name as anyone.
it's as good as name as any, and probably because it draws a rectangle or draws a square or something, so it's a block. You're looking at a block. The one demo that they had of all the balls falling, it still was drawing blocks around the balls. I mean, everybody knew it was a ball falling, but it said red or blue or whatever. That's because they set the signatures for the color that they wanted. So this project, I actually saw this on Hackaday Hackster, and the guy had a slightly different robot, and it would go and he picked something up and it would back up and it would drop it. And I thought, well, that's kind of interesting, you know. So I duplicated it, but I used different stuff. Maybe.
And USB cable got you down, taking you for beat.
The original would go up, it would grab it, it would back up and drop it, and that's all it did. Mine should go up, grab it, back up, turn, and drop it, because I want to be different.
Now, when you figure out how to sort nuts and bolts with
As long as you can make them
colors.
different colors.
Yeah, just spray paint them all.
The little
Very
gripper
effective.
is a make block gripper, and it uses a DC motor. So, in order to make sure that the gripper is actually open, I cheat. I tell it to open the. Not enough room. Need more room.
There's no feedback
On the gripper now.
There is no correction.
Correction isn't working too well. I was watching his video, and his correction wasn't working real well either.
Gotta pick up more. That's what's throwing part of it off. It needs to go up a little
It
more.
means if I
Does it
move
drag?
it,
No,
it
it's-
doesn't follow.
It's because there's ridges in the box.
And if you picked up more, it would pick it up above the ridges.
It doesn't follow
Do you have a
the
Z-axis?
block, right?
No.
If I move the block,
It's just fixed.
Okay.
Oh, okay, I see.
it doesn't turn.
It's supposed to.
Yeah, but it's not happening.
Almost looks like it's going backwards.
Use your book, Vicente. How about using your book to set the block on?
Probably too high.
Is it too high?
Yeah, it looks like it, yeah.
Alright.
Is it skidding when it's trying to turn?
I think it is.
It
Put
decides
we could put fresh
when,
batteries in
how
and see
close
if
it is. Using the white, I mean,
Yeah.
to know if it's
So-
close enough.
See, this side doesn't have any ridges. That side has ridges. He gets hung up on the ridges.
All right.
Meow.
It's sort of a work in progress.
Pretty cool.
I was having problems. I was having problems with it auto-correcting too. Start.
Pablo,
I like the gearing on those motors though. It's nice and slow.
Oh, I set it to
at low speed.
at low speed. Yeah.
Have those got the encoders on them?
No.
Okay.
No.
Or feedback mechanism or nothing?
Well,
Okay.
it's actually supposed to. Right there is your feedback. So you have the size of the pixel, the size of the block, which I found 200 to work the best. Of course, that was under my lighting conditions. Light here is a little different, so that may actually affect it. Light here's a lot better because I had to actually turn the light on for it to even see the stupid block. But there's between the center and the minus and the plus of the center, that is where it's supposed to go straight. And then if it's anything greater, it's supposed to turn left. Yeah, left. And if there's anything less than the center, it's supposed to turn right. It seems like it's having a problem turning left a little bit.
Talk some more about the encoders and where they were and how they.
Well, I never had encoders on this.
Okay. So this is a straight DC motor.
Yeah.
Okay. So it doesn't really know once if you open it up to the maximum, it's maximum. But if it closes down a portion of the way, you don't know. Right.
There's no feedback on the gripper.
Okay. So if you were to grip a block that was twice the size of that one,
It won't fit. It won't fit in first because that is the most that it can open right there.
okay. Well, let's pretend that you have block half that size. It wouldn't know the difference between the blocks other than the color.
Well, you can get a height and a width, which is kind of what we're comparing here, of your block
Okay.
that the camera sees. So as long as we have a height and a width that we're looking for, we can know.
Okay. So, pardon me if I'm getting off track here, but if you had a block that was half the size of that blue one that you have there, and it was the same color,
the software shouldn't really care.
Okay. That's what I'm asking though, what I'm getting around to is, can you make the software care?
The gripper doesn't know its position.
The gripper doesn't know the position. The gripper doesn't care.
Okay. But if you have, if you
See,
put
now
those-
now the camera can't see it
Right.
because it's too
Yeah,
small.
too small. If you had two blocks that were the same color, one twice the size of the other one, you could not make the software at this
You
time.
have the-
Like which one?
The purple.
That gripper is not set up for that.
Well, even in selecting what the target
Looking
is,
over it.
it doesn't have the ability to differentiate between two objects that are the same color. Based on size.
So I think you're right. I don't think it has the ability.
So,
There you go.
you've got the size of it, you're talking about the size of the block, but that information isn't being used in order to make a differentiation between, let's say you had two blocks that show up.
Wow.
It isn't, the size of the blocks isn't being used, that information isn't being used to differentiate between the two of them.
The size of the block is not being used to differentiate between the two blocks. It's all about the color.
And in
This-
fact, if it sees them both, it's going to get a centroid between the two of them.
Yeah.
Let's put two of them up there and see what it does. They're two different colors,
And the grippers could be spring-loaded too, you see what I'm saying?
The, well,
and
I mean,
the-
let me see that little
The
block.
grippers are kind of, I kind of moved away from that, thinking now, you got two targets, but the software doesn't make any differentiation between the big one and the little one. And
I think the software will actually go towards the big one because of
Well, the software doesn't guide it, so.
yeah, the software guides it.
Yes, it does.
But right there, the center
It's going to go
point.
between the two.
I think it's a little off anyway.
The
I think
block,
it's-
what you're getting back is the centroid. See
Yeah,
both
go
and give
straight.
you
All
a
the time I
bounding
saw it.
box.
Yeah,
on
it always
both.
Can you
it's
put
always
the
angling
image
this
up
this
where the-
area
where
here.
the block is?
Let's try that again. Start it over.
Can you
Can
show
you put the
them
image
what
back
it
up?
looks like?
Oh, you want to see it on the?
Yeah, and see what the block draws, what it draws from the block.
It's going to have a big single
We're gonna have
block
to
around
probably
both.
move it. We're probably gonna have to move everything.
Yeah.
It should actually show two different things.
Two different blocks.
Two different.
Not if it's the same color.
Now that'll mess up your guided software real good.
Yeah.
Huh?
Wow. Okay, what did you all do to my program?
There.
Okay.
Let's get rid of one and see if it. No, it's not tracking anymore.
There you go.
There you go, found that, yellow, oh yeah. It's not gonna give that, it found that block, that's it, leave me alone.
One's
Just
it.
pick one.
Okay, so where'd it go? Come back.
Well, move the other one off and
That's
move
what I was
it
gonna
back.
do, but it has. I wanted to see.
Yeah, there you go. Now let it find that, okay, it found, now move the other one back in there. Well, it lost that one.
Oh,
Oh wow. It has to do with how this is set up. How the camera is actually set up.
5-minute warning.
Yeah, I know. Now I
No
gotta play.
exceptions.
nuclear
Nuclear
meltdown.
We
Danger
can,
Will
we'll continue
Robinson.
this looks like it's phase B next week.
Then I have
Danger,
to
Will
play.
Robinson. Does not compute.
I actually did want it to do 2 blocks, but I wanted it to do the purple block and
Okay.
the